corporate girlies, we're not stiff.
Not at all.
We're a lot of fun, like we're fun. We may switch from a blazer to some ripped jeans for like our fun weekend look, but we're a lot of fun deep down
Absolutely.
inside.
Yes, I show up to the office every day bumping my trap music. Like,
See, do you have a name for your trap music? Because I got a name for mine.
no, what's your name?
Mine is called Code Switch,
Okay. No,
and it's a picture of SpongeBob twerking.
I love it. I'm here for it. I'm here for
Thank
it.
you. And it has like a mix of like old and new. I can't really like now lean into all the new rap because some of these children, the mumbling is just and the lack of rhyming and rhythmic pattern, it's got to stop.
Yeah.
It's got to stop. But Cardi stays bump. Meg stays bump. Who else is in there? T.I., that new song that he just dropped. I've been bumping that frequently in the car, I'm running my errands and the dog's in the back seat with his little seat belt, rolling along with.
Yes. I've been bumping a little bit of Ken the Man lately. Have you heard of Ken the Man? If not,
No,
I'm gonna send you some songs. You could be like, "Now, what in the world are you listening to?"
I'm not mad at it because I love discovering new music. I am the person in the middle of the store putting up Shazam and asking what song it is because I always think this song could be dope for like content or like, a campaign I'm working on, like something like that could be like really cool to tie it in there. And I always want to make sure my ear is fresh. So even my playlist right now, it seems a little chaotic, but I have, my rap music. I have Black classical music and music from like Bridgerton and stuff like that. I have electro funk and pop, like music you hear like in fashion shows. Of course, you got to have your vibes, but that's not why we're here. And I know we were going on a bit on a tangent, y'all, but welcome back to Coffee with Yvonne, a show for creatives and entrepreneurs. And I'm Yvonne Pearson, your host, and Darlene, the founder. Again, it always sounds good with nails. The founder of Pink Doll House Marketing. And today on the show, I have one of my marketing girlies. I had one of my marketing girlies on the show. And we actually met at the first year of the Black Women Marketers Conference. And we sat down at the same table. It felt like the first day of school, y'all. And you're like, sitting around like, can we be friends? And then we discovered we liked each other and that we're both cancers. And now we're friends.
Yes.
And so I had to have Nye on the pod today. And Nye is an amazing woman, Black woman in STEM. And we're going to be talking about today about her journey in the aviation industry. And more specifically, the work that she does to align her campaigns and strategic direction to make sure that she is optimizing performance as much as possible for their target audience. And to give her her flowers because she deserves every single flower that she gets from this pod and in her career. To give her her flowers, Nyeisha Dease is not just from her bio. As a person, her light just shines through in every single room that she enters. My fellow Cancer, my fellow friend in this industry, a high impact marketing executive and creative strategist with over 8 years of experience leading brand growth across the aviation and public sectors. She has been recognized by Columbia Business Monthly as one of the best and brightest under 35. She specializes in building cohesive brand identities and managing high stakes communications for global organizations. She is currently the marketing and communications manager for Piedmont Airlines and American Airlines Group, and Nye oversees global brand stewardship and a multi-million-dollar annual budget. Her expertise lies in blending creative vision with strategic operations, ranging from authoring comprehensive brand guidelines to leading digital modernization efforts and measuring impact for major industry launches. Beyond her corporate leadership, Nye is a dedicated partner to small business owners and public entities, helping them to find their voice through specialization, design, and digital strategy. And with that being said, welcome to Coffee with Yvonne. That's my friend, y'all. I love it. I mean, like the credits speak for themselves. Like, okay, let's go back. Best and brightest under 35, clock it. And doesn't she have a master's degree too?
Yes.
So she is Black and educated. Clock it again. And also is a good person. Clock it again. And I am happy to have you here with me today because having the marketing girlies in our community who are genuine, who are people who you can look to for not just friendship, but also advice is so rare in our industry. And for you, when you think back on your story, because we all have a story, right, about how we got here. When you think about your early life and the experiences that shaped you, what moment or influences stand out at the beginning of your interest in like creativity, communication, and how did you know that you were like a leader? And did those early sparks of influence approach the way you do your work now?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, I always feel like I've naturally had like a eye for visual storytelling. Like as a kid, like when my mom was taking me to the grocery store and her favorite department stores, like I was always just drawn to like the visually best like branded package in the store. And then I also possess like this like analytical brain. I don't know, like I always had the need to like problem solve. So we talked about this like when we were at the conference where like when MySpace was the thing and we're spitting at home sitting here trying to code these like nice layouts and things, and I was just like, oh wow, this could actually be my life. Is there a role for this? But dad was like, no, you're not gonna make any money in art and design. You need to go into computer science. So I spent like my first two years, well, first two semesters, just like, oh, well, no, I was right the first time, first 2 years. And like studying computer science, learning how to code, like actual code, like C plus plus and all the other codes that they had. And then I would realize I was like, this is not the like thing for me. So I took my first art class and then like the ideas sparked and I was just like, I was like, this takes me back to the MySpace days where I was designing these profiles and these layouts and people were like, okay, I want this. Can you design that? So I'm like, okay, all right. So I can combine the two for real because I know I've done this before. Coding was even a thing for me. So now I'm like here, I'm in this class and they're talking about marketing and I'm like, huh, okay. All right. Like I'm hearing about McDonald's and how they are researching the different markets and how they're positioning themselves as the fast food expert because they know what their markets want to eat. So now like fast forward, I'm in the public sector like tapping into what our audience wants. So our audience wants to know what they want to do in the community. They want to know what opportunities are available as far as jobs, what opportunities are available as far as family friendly events and things. So I was just like, okay, I can use that same like process that McDonald's did, tap into what my audience wants and give them what they need based on what we're hearing. And that was very long-winded, but
It's not long-winded. It's not, because a lot of creatives, to take it back, a lot of creatives have a similar story, right? We knew from the beginning we were always creative individuals. We knew that there was something different in how our brain worked. And now, to tell the truth too, I was very similar as a kid growing up. I could pick up a commercial like that. You
yes.
know, I could remember a jingle. I was very big on brand awareness. In fact, to my mom's chagrin, I hated not getting anything that was not name brand from the commercials that I saw in the grocery store. Like if she tried to pick up toaster strudels that were not the toaster strudels I saw on TV, I was like, that's not toaster strudel. I know toaster, I know the jingle in my head. And like little things like you mentioned too, being in college and realizing the major that you were encouraged to do was not your passion, very similar. I was pre-med. My scholarship was dependent on me staying pre-med. But I got to college, saw blood for the first time, and I passed out. I passed out on the floor. But like you as well, I took an art history class and it changed everything for me. Like when I started realizing the way my brain worked was not different, it was special. And then taking that to you similarly, taking that and folding that into marketing, it all just started blending together and seeing that beauty of seeing the visual and the strategic come together. That's what we do. And that's what you do in your day to day. And when you're thinking about developing campaigns for an airline, First and foremost, the airline industry is very competitive, right? When you're developing for a campaign, what does your creative or strategic process look like from the beginning? Like, where are you pulling inspiration? What kind of insights or data are you looking at to help bring that campaign piece together?
Okay. So like when most people think about like airline marketing and advertising, they usually think about like capturing like the consumer or passenger like as far as like what they want to see, what they want to view. But in my role, I am a strategic employer branding. So I advertise my company as the ideal premier carrier for a career. So we're looking for like the top talent to basically take a role. And so we aren't just selling tickets, we're selling a career and a lifestyle. So to do that authentically, I try and tap into the people. So I look for new hires, specifically new hires. Like, hey, what were you looking for? Why did you sit here and sign a contract with the company? What got you in the door? And then from there, I'm like, what are your pain points? So from then on, I can sit here and tap into like what it is, the problem that we're trying to solve for people in the market that are looking for jobs, and then also tap into um what benefits that we can give, what benefits are also like solve other issues for them that can make them their work life balance be something enjoyable like here with the company. And then, of course, you cannot forget what the company's goals are. So then, after I sit here and look at what the company's goals is, I try to basically come up with a strategy that basically aligns both needs together. And so that's what I do. Like, where are you getting your information? What are your issues? What problems can we solve for you? And how can we make your life enjoyable working for this company? And then what are your goals? What are your aspirations? What do you want to do in the future? And can we help get you to that point? So so that's when I'm creating a campaign, that's what I'm looking to do. So recently, like I'll take pilots. When I first got into the industry, I didn't know a whole lot about pilots. I didn't know that it is so expensive to become a pilot. Becoming a pilot is up there in line with like trying to become a doctor. So
Yes.
I was talking to this I was at an event and I was talking to this Black woman and she was just like, "Do you have any scholarships?" And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" She was like, "It cost me $250 an hour for a flight hour." And then to become a cadet this year, this is like the line before a first officer, but to become a cadet, you need 500 hours. So think 250 times 500. How much money are you spending?
A lot.
Yes, yes. So when people are coming into this market, I'm just trying to make sure I'm not selling like a career. Like I'm one, of course, money is important, but they all want to know like, am I going to be working for the rest of my life to be paying off my bills, or am I going to enjoy my work life? Do I still have time to spend with my family? Like, am I going to be struggling at the end of the day? So when I'm promoting and when I'm advertising like roles, um, I'm pushing out like what it is and what it means to live here. Like, and then I can get off pilots for a second because like roles like ours, like you and me, like working as a marketer, I also try and tap into genuine storytelling. So for me, when I first took the job, like I actually found out that my brother had cancer. So one of the benefits was one of like the company's benefits is that you get free flight benefits. And that's not that's really everyone knows this. But for me, like I didn't realize how much of a good benefit that was until like I can get off work and I can relax knowing that I could just get on a quick flight and be by his bedside the moment like he woke up from any of his treatments. So like storytelling and tapping into like those stories from other team members and actually telling like what it is and what it means to them to have these benefits and work for the company. It's something like I really try and tell. So it's not just a job, like this is a career that you can also enjoy at the end of the day because the benefits are like top tier.
Mhm. And I like the way you approach that. You approach it from a humanity standpoint, which, to take it back, like authenticity in marketing and campaign messaging is very popular right now. It should have always been the case in how we tell stories, but right now, authenticity is the center. And what you did with telling your story about your brother who was, going through treatment at the time and being able to have those benefits to be at his side. Those are things a lot of times for women in creative fields or people who have families in like creative or various industries. It's very important to us to make sure we can still show up for those in need. And by you pulling from your own personal experience, you're then able to leverage that into your campaign storytelling. Another thing that was interesting too is telling the truth about barrier to entry. Like you mentioned, being a pilot is not cheap. As a girly who loves to travel and hates to fly, I trust them pilots. I have to trust them pilots with everything in me when that plane takes off and by the time it lands. And I need you to know what the heck you doing. But in order to do that, like you mentioned, it's very expensive. What are some things that you would like to see in your industry? And this is just being very realistic to help move the needle forward and creating more of that inclusion in the space to allow for people who want to become pilots to, start that journey. What's some of the things you would like to see?
Oh wow. Like I would like to see more black women take on pilot roles, to be honest. So there's this perception that black well, just black people in general, it's not like a career in aviation is not something that they think of. And honestly and truly, a lot of people don't think about a career in aviation just because it wasn't something that was at our fingertips. Of course, a lot of us aren't sitting here, have our uncles and grandpas who fly planes, and we can just go and get on a plane and go to Martha's Vineyard on like a fun afternoon. It's just not happening. So, I say that to say because I went to a conference last year and it was called Sisters in the Skies, and it was a lot of black women who are working at Delta, working at United, working at these major airlines. And one I will never forget, this lady said that it's more likely for you to get struck by lightning than for you to have a black female as a pilot. And I was just taken aback. I was like, "Oh wow, are you serious?" And I actually never really considered like I'm getting on these planes, I'm flying to for work consistently every month, and to their point, I've never had a black female pilot as like my pilot ever. So I was just like, wow. So like having these organizations like Sister in the Skies and shoot, even like black women in marketing, like having these roles, telling people about our people about these roles are just huge because like you just don't know like how you can just spark an idea and spark a light bulb in somebody's head. So that's honestly what I really truly want to see. So the woman who's sitting here talking to me at this event saying, "Hey, is there any funding because my flight hours is $250 an hour?" They have organizations like Sister in the Skies where I can sit here and connect her to like, hey, you should look into this organization for that exact reason. And it's a difficult time, especially, with the current climate and how DI is being rolled back from all these companies and organizations. And people are just scared to even sit here and say that they support these programs. But I strongly disagree with them. And I can actually proudly say that because aviation is not an industry that you can just sit here and say, "Oh, I'm a part of the company," or "I'm flying because of a DEI initiative." And that's not true because you have to get these certifications. You have to constantly take these tests. And it's not like, oh, one test is structured for one person. If you're not sitting here excelling, if you're not sitting here passing these tests, you're not in the flight deck at all. So I just feel like a lot of people talk this talk like, "Oh, you're here because DEI." It's not. You got here because you deserve to be here and you did what you needed to do to succeed. And I want women, regardless of a financial barrier, to be in these roles.
And I like the way that you said that because it's very true. I've flown many a time domestically and internationally, and I could count maybe twice I've had a black pilot. Not even a black female pilot, a black pilot. And other times when I'm flying, the main time I see diversity and inclusion is through the staff, right? Through the people who are checking me in at the counters or the flight attendants on the plane. I hardly ever see us actually flying the plane to the destination. And to your point, having organizations like you said sisters in aviation, sisters in flight,
Sisters in the Skies.
sisters in the sky. Okay, sis. Oh, that's cute, sis. I get it. Okay, I'm back. But having organizations like sis promote and amplify those industries is so important because like Black women marketers, like the African American Marketing Association, you can't be what you can't see, and we can't get there unless we come together as a collective to help that next generation or person who's interested in the industry. Getting back to your point about DEI, or inclusion and belonging, do you think that the pushes that are currently happening right now are harming the future growth in the industry? Because like you mentioned, people are just so scared to associate themselves with inclusion and belonging. Do you think that that's really holding back that progress?
I honestly feel like any step back in any direction as far as pulling back DEI programs is a step back. Yeah, yes, honestly. But I can say because of organizations like Sister in the Skies, like they and I'm not their spokesperson or anything. I'm just very proud to see what they've done. But they aren't taking a step back, regardless of how many people pull back funding and saying like, oh, we don't support this, we don't support that initiative. They're doing what they're here to do. They're here to support the Black women in taking a step forward and being um, what they want to be as far as a woman in aviation. So I went to the event and seeing women that are flight attendants, not because they want to be flight attendants, they want to be pilots, but this is how they're getting their foot in the door. I'm getting my funding from this organization. They're able to successfully fund a Black woman every step of the way to get every hour that she needs in order to take that test, get that certification, and do what it is that she needs to do to become that Black pilot. And I'm so proud of that organization. And there's many organizations doing the same thing, but they're just not promoting it to the extent that these organizations are specifically trying to fund the underprivileged and minorities that just don't have the access like a white male would.
Hmm. And in terms of talent, when you're looking at the talent pool for roles with your company, whether it's in marketing or becoming a pilot, what are some of the skills, like transferable skills, that you see or you want to see people amplify more who want to be part of this industry?
Oh, one of the things that I just feel like most people don't tap in, and I haven't even touched on yet is becoming a airline maintenance technician. Like we have people all day, especially our people who are working on these cars, working on motorcycles, can build something from scratch, are building like actual what it like robots and things. Like if you have that tinker gene, like you should be looking into aviation. Like we fund programs. My company funds funds a student's career as education's career. So basically from day one when they're like, oh, I want to become an AMT, they we give them the funding and actually cover majority of all fees except for your books, where you can sit here and go through a 2-year course and complete I mean not 2-year course but 2-year program and get that degree and become an AMT and immediately have a job right after. So you're not sitting here looking trying to apply. Like once you get into that school and you have secured a scholarship from us, you are now officially employed. It's the day that you get your degree. I think that's one thing that that should be promoted. Like if you have skills to work on a car, you have skills to work on a plane. Now I'm just saying I'm biased, but I'm no mechanic. I have no tinker gene in me. But most people who do have who are mechanics, I'm like, oh, I could do that. I'm like, yes, at least try it. At least join, take a few classes, um, go to a school that may have some aviation courses, and just see if it's something that you would be interested in doing.
And are there any areas you would recommend? Like is it nationwide that they can do this? Are there specific areas that specialize solely in like the aviation market, like where you are in the South?
There are several schools that provide aviation coursework and classes, but like you said, it depends on locations. I know of the few courses. I know of a few colleges and universities that offer programs like on the East Coast. I'm not really familiar with out west but there are a few specifically like in Virginia, in the DC area. Um, I know Maryland Eastern Shore is trying to get together an aviation program for people who are interested in HBCUs. So they're popping up everywhere, but at the same time, if it's not something that you've been exposed to and know anything about, it may go overlooked.
Okay. And if you are currently in school right now, say you're in undergrad and you're getting more like an engineering or some kind of degree like that, can that be transferred over to your industry as well? Do you need like additional certification on top of the degree, or can you go like straight into corporate?
So, into corporate as far like outside of maintenance. So
Yeah.
in corporate, yes. So corporate, like there isn't any special certifications depending on what role type. So like we're not different than any other corporate company. So if there's like a specific certification that you need for an IT role, then yes, you probably still need that IT certification. But as far as like marketing, um, and to become in finance, there's different roles for every field and we got a place for everyone. So no, you don't have to have any specific industry knowledge to work a role in aviation.
Okay, I think that's really good to know because as someone who works in science, like I work in chemistry in my full-time role, I thought I had to be a scientist to work in this space. And every person I met for a majority, ain't none of us got a science background. We just have a passion for the industry that we work in. And I think sometimes, that's what holds people back from trying something new. They think, oh, well, I don't have a background in this field. They're not going to want me, or I shouldn't apply. A lot of times you cannot say you can't do something until you try it, right? And you never know because, like, for me, I thought I would be the most bored in my life working in chemistry. I'm having the most fun I've ever had working in this space. And I think when people, especially us as a cultural collective, think outside the box in terms of what is normalized as a career, we end up finding our actual passions and end up moving the needle forward for changing what that industry can look like.
Exactly. So like for instance for me, I grew up in Columbia, South Carolina, and most people know that Columbia doesn't have any corporate offices. So for me to sit here and be working for aviation and well working in this industry just wasn't a thought for me. So if you were to tell little me that I would be here right now, I would tell you that you were lying. Like there's no way. Either you're working for a school, you're working either for the local government or you're working in the military. And that's it. Those are their only opportunities in that city. Now, yes, Columbia is growing now, but it just wasn't a thing. So I wasn't exposed to aviation, but I can say like seeing that description come across my computer during COVID when I was looking for a job, I was just like, oh, I never even thought that was a possibility, but let me just shoot my shot and see, just submit that application and see if it's something that I could eventually be in, and here I am. So, and honestly, that was the best chance that I ever even took because I enjoy this industry. It's so fun. Um and I am not the type of person that wants to fly. I'm not a pilot. I'm not a flight attendant. Like that's just not me. But to see that I can sit here and advertise and do what I do like best and what I enjoy, working in an industry where I don't have to fly and be responsible for other people, I'm all for it.
I love that. And it's so real too, because a lot of us, like, we were all sitting on our computer trying to figure out if we wanted to tap into something new. And like you said, you saw the role, you shot your shot, Kobe, and it went in and you got the job. And thinking about too, moving away from us as a community, but thinking about being a woman in this industry, there was a moment during a conference in which, you mentioned that you go to conferences sometimes and you're one of the few only women in the room at that moment. How does it feel sometimes to carry that weight of knowing that, you are the representation in your industry for women in STEM or in the aviation field?
Yeah, yeah. To your point, like I will go to not and hate to make this a race thing, but not just being a woman, but being like the only black woman in the room in this industry sometimes it's just I don't know, it takes me to back. Like I'll go to these air shows and to get past, no one wants to ask me a question at my own booth because oh, she's just a flight attendant. I'm like, I'm not even a flight attendant. I'm actually very knowledgeable in this space. If you have any questions about this role, I'm already here. And you passed me up to ask me a question. But I went and I met a pilot, I would say not last year, but the year before at Sun and Fun. And this same pilot came out, like went around the other recruiters to shake my hand to let me know, like, I remember you from last year, and I wanted to let you know that I'm starting at your company in a month, in my first day in the program, and I'm not even going to be a cadet. I'm going to be a first officer. And I remember your face, and I just wanted to make sure I came and shook your hand because the conversation that I had with you made me realize, like, okay, like there's no doubt about that. I want to sit here and work for your company. So I'm just like, wow, like, so I just want to say, like, even though, like, in this space with my journey in the aviation, I just want to let the next generation just know, like, it doesn't matter who you are, what color you are, like what background you have. This is a space that you could be in. And at the end of the day, if you know your stuff, just like me, I got 2 degrees, you said it. Hey, I can sit here and tout it. I know my stuff, and I know I deserve to have a space at the table. So, and even if you don't think I am, it doesn't matter to me because I know whatever is next for me, God has a space for me at the next table. So, I mean, whatever happens, happens. I know I'm supposed to be where God wants me to be.
And I love that you said that because a lot of times I hear from other women and women of color and black women that sometimes they're trying to make us feel small in those spaces. And it's when you have the most confidence in those rooms because you that girl when you walk in. And while they may be overlooking you because they thought you were a flight attendant or in my case being like an assistant or something, the moment you have that moment of validation of that man coming around everyone to shake your hand validates the impact of your career and what you do for a living. And it's just so, I think, necessary for people to hear that because as small as they try to make us feel in those spaces, we're sometimes the most experienced person at that table. But when you don't take the chance to even talk to us or listen to our personal experience, you miss out on that key information and relationship we could be building because you overlook me from my appearance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? And I think now that we're coming to the end of the interview, all right, if you were to envision, because now aviation has not just, flown around the world, right? We're starting to go into space, which I don't know if I'm okay with that because I can't do it. I can't, I don't think I'll be going to Mars or the moon. But when you envision the next like wave of aviation for women of STEM, for Black women in STEM, how far do you think we're going to go? Like, do you see us going to the moon and like, amplifying awareness there? Do you see us building campaigns that are focused on like aviation tourism to space? Like, what do you see coming next?
Oh, wow. Wow. That's a huge question. Honestly, uh, I feel like there's so much, especially with AI coming into play and with new technological advances coming into play. So I do see us in different spaces. I do see us taking the tools that we have as professionals and helping build whatever is wherever we're going next. So I don't know what that looks like. I don't know, but I just know it's coming. And it's better to be prepared than not be prepared. And if you're not using AI, I'm sorry, you're probably going to get left behind. So don't so just look at it as an opportunity to grow your skill sets, to add value to who you are as a person, and like just be ready.
And you're exactly right. Like AI really in across industries, it has a presence, right? But it cannot replace human creativity, but you still need to know how to use the tool to make you better. Kind of like how when we were kids, like you mentioned, MySpace, we were coding. I was building an NSYNC page, just let me have it. But we were like doing things like coding, and then that turned into us having things like, social media and, content creation, and it all like fell into each other from there. And those who chose not to accept those changes ended up getting left behind in the various industries. With AI, even with aviation, it's not about taking away the talent. It's about optimizing and strategizing even more to be even more impactful, especially now that we are going into this new frontier with, what Artemis 2 did recently. I can see the aviation space really going into like space tourism and starting to promote, short flights to space or having like, cool like hotel packages where people can go to a space shuttle or something like that and then lean into the cultural context of it, building the next wave of Black history through space travel, right? What that can look like. Like there's so much your industry can do. And I really think that in terms of being AI proof, you guys have more of a stable ground to stand on in the future of where we're going than a lot of other industries do that are not leaning into the changes that are happening.
Absolutely.
So to close out our interview, this is going to be the part that I like to have a little fun with. We're going to do some sip and spill quick fire questions. Now, mind you, now this is top of the dome.
Okay.
Don't overthink it. You got to stand 10 toes down about your answer. Is that cool?
All right.
Okay. Okay. All right. First question. In your opinion, who is the best rapper or singer of all time?
Best rapper or singer all the time? Oh man. Can I have two? Can I say like my answer for rapper?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Personally, I'm a J. Cole fan, like 10 toes down.
Okay.
Coco Jones. And the reason, yes, and both of them are from the Carolinas. So South Carolina born and raised. I know North Carolina, and I'm living in North Carolina right now. So like I support the two. I love them. And the reason why I love J. Cole is because he is, oh my gosh, he's so good at storytelling for the girlies who are in marketing and advertising, and we understand like the importance of storytelling. He does a really good job of like capturing what it is that he's trying to convey in whatever song that he's doing. I don't know if you guys recently heard like his newest album, but he has a song talking about Biggie and Tupac, the relationship between the two. And he made me feel like I was there in the moment. Like I was there during the argument, him getting up on stage, fussing, y'all get it, y'all get it, y'all get it. If y'all seen, if y'all watch documentaries and listen or even watch the movie, like you kind of understand what he's trying to convey in his song that he did. So I love J. Cole. And then Coco, oh my gosh. One of her songs, she was just like, I can pop my shit. She was like, my ego is big. You ain't gonna little girl me. So let me some Coco because like whenever I'm on my way to the office, I'm like, yes, let me embody this energy before I walk into this office and share it with everybody what my strategy is on this advertisement project that we're getting ready to work on.
J. Cole, yes, totally agree. Amazing storyteller. One of my favorite songs by J. Cole on his album before the last album is 100 Mil.
Mm-hmm.
I think that entire album, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's like him standing and there's like fire burning in the background. I can't think of the album's name, but that was a great album in terms of storytelling. And Coco Jones. Coco Jones is so multifaceted and very underrated as a singer and performer. She has a song that she did with Babyface on one of his EPs. I can't think of the name of it, but the way she sang that song, it was the low runs for me. It was the way that she kept her voice at such a even level tone. And my mom's a singer, but like the way she kept it as an even level tone, but still emoted emotions in what she was saying, that is a talent that not everyone can do.
No, seriously. Oh my gosh. Her range, her pitch, like
yes. It's so good. And also because she's a chocolatey Black girl. I love to see a chocolatey Black girl doing a thing. I'm like, ooh, yay. Okay, next question. If you could live in any city for a year, it does not have to be the United States. It could be anywhere in the world. Where would you live and why?
Honestly, I would have to move up there with you to DC because I guess it's tied between DC and Dallas, but I would say DC because of like it's historically opened so many vital doors for people of color. So I love your city. Anytime I get the opportunity to just go up there, take a conference like how we were at Black Women in Marketing, even though that was really like Arlington, Virginia, but it was right there on the cuffs. But yeah, I just feel like it's a city that you can just be visibly seen at, like not just for the work that you can do and the knowledge that you can bring to whatever role, whatever industry, but you have that community, and that's what I love about DC. And then Dallas, like I'm in the aviation industry, so Dallas is where my company's headquartered. So I could see myself going there, and plus, like I came from Columbia, South Carolina, so seeing like how the quality of life and And the cost of living is like a huge factor for the Dallas area because like Charlotte is getting expensive. And I know DC is expensive too.
Oh
So
yeah, we're expensive over here.
if I want to save some coins, I'm probably gonna go up to Dallas. But yeah, I love both cities.
And you know what? You're right, because the DMV area, and we call it the DMV 9. Now we're not being shady. Baltimore's our cousin on our daddy's side. Okay, so we cool with her, but the DMV itself, it can get very pricey very quickly. However, like you said, it is such a hub for Black, I hate this term, but really is Black excellence up here. Like growing up here, I grew up in PG County. It's still one of the most affluent Black counties in the United States, and I'm very proud to be raised in this area. But it can get pricey because you have a lot of industries here, and you also have people who are so highly educated. It still blows my mind how many people you could run across just at brunch. These folks got PhDs, they got multiple degrees, they got businesses on businesses on businesses. And it's something about seeing people who look like you just thrive in the best way. And even if you're not traditionally educated, you have people who work in blue collar industries doing very well. You have people who work in the tech space, and even those who are creators who are doing great things too, in creativity, design, etc. So yes, the DMV will always be that girl, but we are expensive.
Yes, we are.
We are expensive to live here, but it's a vibe.
It is.
It's a vibe to be here. Yes, I
is.
love it here. Last two questions. You had a long day. You were on emails, on phone calls all day long, and you barely had a lunch break. What is your go-to comfort food for the day?
Oh gosh. I like anything seafood, but if I've had a very stressful day, I might skip the meal and go straight for chocolate cake or ice cream sundae with some type of cake inside of it, like something like that. Like I have to feel every single bite, I have to feel every single emotion that went on that I did not get to express or feel throughout that day. So it's like a therapy session with the meal.
No, I understand that because sometimes I just open up the gelato, or my favorite ice cream is strawberry cheesecake, Ben and Jerry's specifically, and I'm just sitting there with the spoon like this. And I do a weird now. I like don't eat the spoon regular. I like put it up like I'm gonna put it on my nose, but at my mouth, I'm just like,
right?
It's a deep sigh. After a long day, and you're just sitting there with your fuzzy socks and your couch blanket, and your phone is on do not disturb, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's perfect. Okay, last question. If you were a coffee, like in the coffee house, they got up on the screen, it's a nice special. What is your coffee? Like, tell me what's your ingredients.
Oh, I am an iced vanilla latte with a shot of espresso. Smooth, highly curated, beautifully presented, but with enough energy to keep, uh, uh um the advertising going, keep building up that resume with, strong corporate girly, but yeah, I'm overdoing it, but you know what I mean.
No, you're good. You're good. I love that because you gotta be your own shot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Tucks hair behind ears. Okay, thank you, because mine's is tied up today, so we're just gonna invisible tuck. Thank you so much for joining me for coffee today. How can people find out more about you and the work that you are doing?
Oh gosh, you can follow me at Nyeisha Dease, Nyedease on all platforms.
Okay, Brandon. See, that's consistency, y'all. Because we don't need at our big age. You can follow me at Big Up, Big Down, keeping it real, gangster, handle. I'm not doing all that. We're grown.
Mm-hmm.
We're grown. Keep it simple.
Yes.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed today's chat. Don't forget to follow Coffee with Yvonne on Threads and Instagram at Coffee with Yvonne. For my personal account, where you can find me cutting up in my real life who I am in the day-to-day. Okay, unfiltered. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, aka the Clock app, at Yvonne_creative marketer. To learn more about me and my business that I own, that I pay taxes on. You can find me at Pink Dollhouse Marketing. To check out my website, you can go to pinkdollhousemarketing.com and on Pink Dollhouse Marketing on Instagram. You can slide into my DMs. That's cool. And creators, I'm going to keep saying this every single week until you get it. Don't forget to keep showing up, keep creating, and that your voice matters. I cannot wait to chat with you soon on another episode of Coffee with Yvonne. Okay, bye! Yay! You did
Coffee
so
with
good!
Yvonne is produced and edited by Yvonne Pearson. Coffee with Yvonne is created by Pink Dollhouse Marketing. You can catch the latest episodes by subscribing to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.